Castle Park, there's a wee football team that will leave its mark. Something, 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 and something. I don't know the words, so we'll get to the bit. The H-E-A-R-T-S. If you can't spell, then here's what it says. Hearts, hearts, glorious hearts. I'm joking. Aye, that's got to get clipped if Hearts beat us now, innit? Probably wasn't the wisest of ideas. How we all doing? Good to see you, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome to our pre-match live stream, the lineup reaction and match preview. Of course, I'm trying to make this a regular fixture heading in to the new season. We're back. Of course, I couldn't do one for the last game against Rangers because I was in Paris. I was in Paris at the time. So we're back ongoing for the season, and we're here for the game against Kilmarnock. The Celtic team is out. I do have it on stream for you on screen here. You can have a look at that. We're going to go through that in a minute. Of course, the purpose of the next half hour is to look at the team, look at our chances, look at what we have to do, and also to get all your questions and my answers out of the way before this afternoon's game. Celtic head into the game second in the table. However, 3 points would ensure Celtic return to the top of the table via goal difference. But Hearts are the team to beat, it seems, right now. It's not for everybody, but they are top of the table, ahead of us by 3 points. Of course, us with our game to play against Kilmarnock this afternoon. We could go 9 clear of Rangers should we win today. They are 10th in the table with 4 points. Not a win to their name. And as the news stands, Russell Martin isn't going anywhere. So that's on the other side of the city. We have our job to do today. It's all well and good to laugh at Rangers. It also does make it slightly frustrating realising that we couldn't beat that Rangers side at Ibrox, because it seems people can go there, beat them, but we couldn't. And hopefully today is maybe the start of Celtic playing that football we know and love and what we're used to. There is some fresh faces in that side this afternoon. So let's go over it very, very quickly. Here is the Celtic starting 11 on screen for you. Kasper Schmeichel is in goals. A back four that is rather different on at least the wide areas of it. Colby Donovan gets his first professional start for Celtic this afternoon. He starts at right back. Anthony Ralston, of course, injured. Alistair Johnson, of course, injured. If he has a good game today, which I'm hoping that he does, it could be a massive opportunity for young Colby Donovan to show that he is the future for Celtic's backline in the right back position. He starts with the usual partnership of Cameron Carter-Vickers and Liam Scales at centre half, and Marcelo Sirachi comes in at the left hand side. I think that's something that I maybe expected to see this afternoon with the plastic surface. Kieran Tierney given a sort of rest so that he doesn't need to play a substantial amount of minutes. It is quite frustrating that we keep landing ourselves in the position where we have too many players in our team that you have to look at and go, should we be playing them in a plastic surface? Kieran Tierney isn't the only one in the team. I also went into the game thinking that about Cameron Carter-Vickers, for example, this afternoon. It is frustrating that we have that, but nonetheless, Marcelo Sirachi, look, he came on at Ibrox, looked fine, didn't have all that much to do. I didn't walk away from it saying anything too substantial, but anyway, Marcelo Sirachi is at the left-hand side of defence. In the midfield, it's Callum McGregor, Benjamin Nigren and Rio Hatate, with a front three for Celtic this afternoon of Michel Balikwisha, Sebastian Tenetke and Daisen Maeda. Now, it's not entirely clear who'll be playing on what wing. Of course, Michel-Ange Balikwisha and Sebastian Tenetke, both naturally left-sided players. The poor recruitment at Celtic has came back to haunt us, but nonetheless, both of them are in the team. Daisen Maeda, also naturally a left-sided attacker. So we have 3 left wingers in our front three this afternoon. It'll be interesting to see who takes turns playing where and what happens. What I've went with on my graphic is the front three that I think will be what we see of Celtic this afternoon. I think we'll see Balikwisha on the right. I think we'll see Tenetke on the left, and I think we'll see Daisen Maeda through the middle. Now, there is no guarantee that that is the case. That is just me going off my own gut feeling, my own instinct, but there is nothing to confirm that that is how the three will line up in the forward areas for Celtic this afternoon. On the bench for Celtic, we have Viljami Salo, Yang, Luke McCowan, Kelechi Iheanacho, Arne Engels, Paulo Bernardo, Dane Murray, James Forrest, and Kieran Tierney. That is the bench. No Jamai Simpson-Pusey. Still not involved in the Celtic team. No Yamada either. No Inamura as expected. I wasn't expecting that. But I think the two noticeable omissions is no Yamada and no Jamai Simpson-Pusey. And I think it's clear as day that Brendan Rodgers just didn't want these players. The club have forced the signings upon him. He doesn't have any. And I know that there's got to be people saying, oh, why are they not there? But genuinely, when you look at the team, bar maybe like Yang, who are you dropping out the squad for them this afternoon? And that's where the poor squad management has come to in terms of the signings that we've made. I see people comparing Simpson-Pusey to Nawrocki, Lagerbielke, rightfully so, of course, not getting into the team. But if it's not Rodgers' fault if he didn't want him. Technically, there's just no place for him there. There's nowhere in that. I can't justify dropping anybody from that matchday squad for Jamai Simpson-Pusey. And the point is, if you drop, say, Dane Murray for Simpson-Pusey, then you get the same complaints, don't you? Oh, why is Dane Murray not in the squad? So, this is where we've been left, sadly. And I don't want to turn that into the narrative of this live stream. Listen, the squad's picked. It's the squad we've got to use today, and that's that. So, there you go. No Johnny Kenny either, as Liam Maguire has pointed out, which is interesting because he's, of course, in the Europa League squad, but he's not on the bench. Of course, remember in the Europa League, you do get a bigger bench to use as well, I'm pretty sure. So, you probably see him involved when that competition starts, at least in a bench capacity. But that is your team this afternoon. And despite, the absence of Alistair Johnson, the absence of Anthony Ralston, the absence of Kieran Tierney, and the real kind of anxiety that might exist amongst the attackers that we have right now at this minute, this is a team that should be going to Rugby Park and winning. And that's not me downplaying Rugby Park as a venue or downplaying Kilmarnock as an opponent, who are, by the way, unbeaten as it stands in this league campaign. This is going to be a tough game, and it always is, but it should be a team that wins. And of course, we have that 12-minute protest at the start of the game we'll touch on. I'll go over the Kilmarnock team in a minute. Thank you to Green Ninja, who has donated £5 saying, I'm the leader of the Yang Gang, the Yang Bang Gang. Who wants in? I'm glad that's no Yang Gang Bang, because that would be, unless that's what you've meant, Green Ninja, and you've just mucked it up. But Yang Gang is dead. And I've killed it. Anyway, Kilmarnock, very quickly, let's go over the Kilmarnock team before I start taking your questions and answers about today's game, because I want to have a bit of a discussion for the next 20 or 25 minutes. For Kilmarnock, it's Strejek in goals. James, I always laugh when I see James Brown, you know that, and that's just because every time I see him, I think of the the 1950s American fucking singer. But the defence, I believe, is James Brown. I've lost my graphic now. James Brown, Lewis Mayo, George Stranger, and Robbie Dees. Dom Thompson's that five at the back? Can never tell nowadays. Liam Polworth, Rory McKenzie, David Watson, Jajario Daniels, and Marcus Dackers up front for Kilmarnock this afternoon. That's position by position. So I think we're seeing a back five for Kilmarnock this afternoon. And then it goes into a midfield of Polworth, McKenzie and Watson, with Daniels and Dackers as the attackers. 5-3-2, I think, for Kilmarnock this afternoon. So it's going to be a tough team to break down. Of course, Stuart Kettlewell, never a pleasant manager to go up against, but Brendan Rodgers does have a good record against Stuart Kettlewell-led sides, and I would expect that to continue this afternoon, to continue our unbeaten start to the season, and to keep going. 5-4-1, I'm seeing in the chat. Yeah, well, there you go. Right, anyway. Let's talk about Celtic. Let's get all your points. Let's get all your questions. Let's talk about the game. We have over 600 live viewers as things stand. Please make sure to go down below, hit like, hit subscribe. You can donate as well if you like. You can become a channel member by using the QR code in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. But most importantly, I want you to get involved. So please get your questions in. Loch McCarthy saying, going to be a tough one today. Hopefully we can get a good few goals. Yeah, let's talk about the attacking output that we should expect of Celtic this afternoon. Ultimately, we need a better performance. Performances haven't been good enough across the entirety of the campaign so far. The best performance coming against the Falkirk in the Cup. But in the league, we haven't hit the high notes. We've scored 6 goals in 4 games. We haven't conceded, but I mean, you look at Hearts who've scored 12 goals already this season. That's the sort of numbers that Celtic should be aiming for and should be aspiring to match. 6 goals isn't good enough. And don't get me wrong, we've had a tough start. I don't want people to forget that. St Mirren against a Stephen Robinson side, never easy. Pittodrie, one of the tougher away games that you're going to get. Rangers at Ibrox, and of course now going up against Kilmarnock. That's a tough start. I don't expect us to score 3, 4, 5 goals a game, but we need a better attacking performance this afternoon, and that is a must of Celtic. Brendan Rodgers, I think, has the backing of everybody right now, or at least a vast majority of Celtic supporters amongst this monstrosity of a situation that has emerged at Celtic. But he needs to also pay us back as well with the performances in the park. I'm hoping, and I spoke about this with Tino on the stream the other night for the Celtic Exchange. Before the window shut, there was so much uncertainty amongst the attackers at Celtic. We had Dyson Maeda, who was asking to leave the club from February onwards. We had Adam Ida, whose career was quite frankly up in the air. We had Yang, who was apparently out the door but now remains with the club. There was so much uncertainty amongst the attackers, Yamada as well, for example, who doesn't even know why he's here probably, that it was probably hard to get into any rhythm and to play with any confidence. That's the front. The door's gone. The door is gone. Do you know what? It's getting ignored. I know what it is. It's the bin cleaners. And they're just going to have to wait for their payment, I'm afraid. They're going to have to wait till the next time. I could just hear the doorbell going. Anyway, I'm hoping now that the window is shut that we can play with a lot more certainty in our game. A lot more aggressiveness. And listen, I don't think there's any... I'm not under any illusion that, for example, Dyson Maeda is ready to commit to a future at Celtic. But he said it himself in his interview in the Japanese press that he's going to give it his all. And now that he maybe has the window out of the way, maybe his mentality will return. Maybe his ability will return. And we will see the Dyson Maeda that we know and love. So, I think that Dyson Maeda might be back to his best, hopefully between now and January. We just need to wait and see, but I'm not going to put any grand expectation on that, but it all starts today. Nathan Green saying, last time I seen Colby start, I played against him in Primary 7 VP5 school football. He should have an easier game today. That's quite a cool link to have, to be fair. Nice, I like that, Nathan. I like that. I hope he was fucking good. I like everything I've seen so far of young Colby Donovan. I've not had a bad word to say about the lad. I hope today the occasion doesn't affect his game. First start, tough surface, tight surface, aggressive team to play against. It's a real occasion that he will need to rise to. But if he doesn't let all of that faze him, there's no reason why Colby Donovan can't have a good game for Celtic today. And of course, I want him to give us a headache, more importantly. I think most importantly, I really want him to create a conversation surrounding the right back area. And more in particular, the backup. No, he's not going to come in and dislodge Alistair Johnson from his place. Because Alistair Johnson is just unbelievable. He's a great, great player. But I think there's so many questions to be asked about how good Anthony Ralston is. I want to see Colby Donovan offer us something to think, right, well, he should be the backup. So, yeah, I hope he has a good game today. I really do. Do I think he can see out the 90? He'll have to, Aidan. He'll have to. Simple as that. I don't think there's a world in which Colby Donovan doesn't play 90 today. I mean, if you look at the Celtic bench, realistically, who comes on for him? I don't know. I don't know who would come on for him, to be quite honest. Unless you've done a bit of jiggery pokery and you move Sriracha out to right back, you move Scales out left, and you bring Dane Murray on. I think that he should be able to play the 90. It's not as if he's not match fit. He was involved heavily in pre-season. He's been involved with the B team. He should be able to last the 90 minutes, I would say. Thank you, Mackenzie, for your unwavering loyalty. A member for 9 months. Legend, brother. Thank you. Hello. Hope Donovan plays well and hope Balikwisha plays well too. I'd like to see Kenny get some game time. Well, that isn't going to happen today because he's not involved in the matchday squad, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, Balikwisha. Look, listen, big game. We've not even touched on Balikwisha and Tanecki in real depth so far in this stream. I think that this is... of course, Tierney's on the bench. I forgot all about that. Yeah, the situation with Tanecki and Balikwisha, I'll be honest, I'll put my hands in the air and I'll say I'm not a huge fan of shoehorning people into positions they don't play. So whoever's on the right hand side today, I do feel bad for them. They're left-sided players. And don't get me wrong, we have seen that Tanecki and Balikwisha have spent time in their career playing on the right wing. But at Celtic, for some reason, we have this, it's almost like a kink. You know, there's a kink that exists within Celtic for playing people on the opposite wing or the flank that they're used to. And that's existed for years. So I'm just hoping that they can rise above that and they can play well on the right-hand side, whoever that might be. But Taneke, especially, I want to see a real good performance from him, because he was somebody that I wasn't too keen on at first glance. I think he was the marks of a panic signing. And because of that, I don't think he's got all the expectation in the world on him, which might help him, to be quite honest. But we've overpaid for him, we know that. And now it's, he can pay us back, hopefully. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he could do. Balikwisha, of course, I've been banging a drum on about all summer about how he would become a Celtic player. He is a Celtic player. Didn't get the chance to impress against Rangers. Didn't really do much in the game. I'm hoping he can stand up here. I think, most importantly, when it comes to talking about the wingers, today, we need to see them be brave. We need to see them be ready to take a man on. We can't be, halfway up the park, turning back and passing to the centre half of the fullback. We need bravery in our wingers today, and that's what I really, really want to see. So we'll see if we get that from Taneke and Balikwisha, new look wingers for Celtic. A new era, really. A new era at Celtic when it comes to the wings. Keep your questions piling in. And we're a left-leaning club. We've never liked right wingers, says Henrik McLarsson. True, to be fair. Craig Rankin saying, hopefully the players put on a good attacking display today for us and for Brendan, who's had to deal with the negativity in front of the media. Rodgers has shown true class. Yep, I agree 100% with all of that. The first 10 minutes will tell us everything we need to know for this game and the season, says Jim. A lot of expectation placed in the first 10 minutes of the game. Of course, Celtic supporters will be taking part. Just as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, Celtic supporters present at Rugby Park today. Not every single one, I would imagine, but I think we'll see a good majority of the fans at Rugby Park taking part in the 12-minute protest. I would just like to issue a quick reminder about that 12-minute process and what it's trying to achieve. Of course, I've drilled it through to you at this point. I was present at the meeting discussing the fan action for today's game. And it was a pretty unanimous decision that everybody at the meeting came to for today's game. Fans are being asked to enter the stand on the 12th minute tomorrow, or today I should say, as another demonstration of fan unity against the Celtic board. Let's show them that football without the fans is nothing. This is a collective, no detriment to the team. That's not what's the necessary action here. The steps are to take forward our demonstration of discontent towards the board that football without the fans is nothing. So hopefully, I mean, listen, and I've drilled it through a million times. Football games aren't won in the first 10 minutes. So that's what we should be really uniting behind today. Jack Turnbull, thank you for the 4 months membership. 4 selections for a bet builder. Come on. Oh, God, right, here we go. Let me think. 4 selections. I'll go Balikwisha at any time. Polworth to be booked. Donovan to be... No, I was going to say Donovan to be booked, but how often do I expect Kilmarnock to get forward? Balikwisha any time. Polworth to get booked. Taneke shot on target. And Sriracha to get booked. No, Donovan. I'll keep bugging it. Donovan. So Donovan and Polworth to get booked. Balikwisha any time and Taneke shot on target. Don't know what that'll give you back. Might be pennies, but there you go. There's my 4 selections, Jack. There you go. See if that comes up and I don't even put it on myself. The Thunder Club's going live after this live stream, Mackenzie. It's rendered and ready to go. Hoping for a fast start, but always slow against Kelly. I would love a fast start as well. I think we need to attack with real intent today, and I think we need to start the game with a real ferocity. Really stick it into Kilmarnock. They are a tough side to beat. I mean, 4 games, 4 draws for them so far. They know how to make things stale, and the last thing that we need is a stale performance this afternoon. Can I see the Hearts form continuing? Can you see them going all the way alongside ourselves? There's no reason why they can't keep it going, but the real test is sustainability. Aberdeen couldn't do it last year. I think that Hearts are still a couple of years away from being able to sustain it over a 38 game period, but there's no reason why they can't if they can stick together. They've got a real good manager. Listen, I know that we all don't like Derek McInnes in here, but I've been saying it for 10 years. I said it when I used to do the SPFL show with CJ and Dev and all the rest of it. The fact that Derek McInnes hasn't been Rangers manager in the past decade is absolutely shocking to me. I know he knocked him back at one point, but they've hired Diddy after Diddy, including the one that's there right now, and Derek McInnes has shown them up again. There's no reason why they can't. Listen, I don't think they've got it in them to challenge over a 38 game period to win a league title right now. I think they need more than that. But listen, it's all about confidence in this game, and right now they're full of it. So, you never know. If I put the wrong squad number for Sriracha, I've just realised. What is Sriracha's squad number? I thought it was 25. Celtic FC squad. What have I done? What is Sriracha's number? Oh, it's 36. Apologies. I'm sorry if you're offended by the wrong shirt number on my graphics. 36 for Sriracha. 25 does belong to Inamura. Elliot, how you doing, my man? Tell you what, Ryan, it would be awfully embarrassing to no have a win in the league yet. I couldn't imagine it, eh? That is nuts how bad it is across the road. It is nuts. And the fact that apparently they're keeping him on is crazy. 100-1 for what I've said. Christ almighty. Worth a quid. Worth a quid. There you go, lads. There's your 100-1 for the day. Keep your questions coming in. Pepsi Max Loyal. Way. Left backs are 63 and 36. Love that. Love that. Do I think Rangers can finish second? Not with Russell Martin in charge. I think they'll struggle to finish third. I think they'll struggle to finish top half, to be quite honest. I'm not even joking when I say that. Right, let's get back to the topic. Hope Rio is in the mood today, says Smell the Gov. Yeah, look, listen. Let's have a conversation about the midfield, shall we? Let's have a conversation about the midfield. I think that, we talk about how important it is for the attackers to get a rhythm and for the attackers to stand up and have a good game and to see a better performance from them. I think it's just as important for the midfield for you this afternoon, to be quite honest. Especially for the captain. Look, I'm not one of these reactionary supporters that wants to jump on somebody. I mean, I go back to this time last year and Callum McGregor was having a start to the season like no other. He was unbelievable. In fact, that period of form between, August and November time last year, Callum McGregor had some of the best months he's had in a Celtic shirt. That doesn't disappear overnight. But what I will say is so far across the competitive football we've played this season, Callum McGregor has been miles off it. He's been very, very poor. I think that today is just as big a game for players like him as it is for Balak, Wisha, Tanecki and Maida, to be quite honest. He doesn't get a bye just because he's the captain or just because he's been in the Celtic squad for the best part of the last 15 years. He still has a big part to play. And people are starting the narrative that he's past it, that he's finished, that his legs are gone and all the rest of it. And listen, off his performances so far, you'd find it hard to argue that. You'd find it hard because he looks visibly, he looks knackered, he looks done. I don't know if he just needs a rest or something, and he's had a rest these last 2 weeks. So I think what we need is a real revitalised performance out of Callum McGregor this afternoon. Something that shows that the 2 weeks that he's had off has done him the world of good. But he needs a big performance, the captain, Callum McGregor. He really does. It's just as important for me as the attacking players. Philip, hello brother, how are you doing? My friend from across the pond. Morning from Worcester, Massachusetts. Hail, hail. Good to see you. Big day of American sports ahead. Looking forward to some Red Zone later. I'm prepped and everything. Good to see you, Philip. I hope you're well, my man. The fact that we sold Awata a year ago and replaced him is a joke. McGregor's been... The thing is, right, I agree with the sentiment of what you're saying, and I don't want to get dragged back into a conversation about Tomoki Awata. He's been gone, it's done, it's finished, he's having a great career at Birmingham, and congrats to him. Selling Awata was the right thing to do at the time, and that it was best for all parties. We weren't going to put him into the team. There's no guarantee he would have got into the team and played to the level that he currently is at Birmingham. Let me just make one thing clear. I think Awata's a good player, but League One football is pretty fucking shite. Pardon my French. I was at a League One game last season. It was a team third against sixth, and it was the worst quality of football I'd ever seen. Greg Docherty was running about the park looking like Andres Iniesta. I would take everything with a pinch of salt. Do I think it was careless that we sold him to an extent? Yes. But I don't think it's this big catastrophe that some people painted it out to be. We should be looking in the market to bring somebody in, I think, that can act as a player that can come in and support Callum McGregor. I don't think Awata was the end-all be-all. I do think he could have been an option. But it's something that we should be exploring in future. McGregor's not finished after 7 games, may I add. Can I just make it perfectly clear? 7 games competitively into the season, he's not finished, but there are concerns. I agree with Mark. I think we should try Engels or Bernardo.
I definitely agree with that. I think that McGregor's got a tough run in that area of the pitch as a number 6, having to cover the back line, having to also try and advance the attack and play. I just think at this stage of his career, his legs is probably struggling to keep up with all of that in a game. I wouldn't mind the thought of giving somebody a chance like Bernardo or Engels to drop into that role and try it. But it's something that obviously right now hard to do when you've got so many central midfielders and you're trying to balance minutes. You're trying to give the new lad Nygren minutes. You're trying to give Rio Hatate the minutes that he should get as one of the technically one of the most gifted players in the team. It isn't exactly easy. It's one of those selection headaches. It's easy for us right now to sit here and say as footballing supporters, such and such should play here, such and such should play there, but we don't see them in the training ground Monday to Friday. We don't know who's expecting what in minutes. We don't know how to balance it as a manager. It's a much tougher situation for the coaches and for the manager to be in than it is for us sitting at home. So this is going to be something that we need to evolve and evaluate across the course of the season, not after 7 games. I know that we like to be reactionary in these days and ages, but I think that we've got to move forward and over time and look at it. But I do agree with Mark. I think that seeing Bernardo, especially in that role, would be something that we should be trying more often, and something that I think we should try and experiment with, especially as the European football starts back. I think the one thing that we can get away with today is the fact that European football isn't on this week for Celtic, so maybe in a couple of weeks' time we'll see Rodgers experiment a little bit. Bernardo is on the bench this afternoon for people asking about him. Green Ninja, thank you again for the donation, brother. Appreciate it. Hope after we win 10 in a row, Hibs get the title before Rangers and Man United are shit, wee man. Go support a real English team. Love you. Thank you. It was very passive aggressive. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, listen, hopefully we do reach 10 in a row, but we've still got another few to get through. We do have we have more to get through, sadly. Yeah, double the 6 and push up Rio. I don't hate the suggestion of it, Steve, but as Celtic, should we be playing 2 holding midfielders? That's where my concern would come in. Like, are Celtic a team that should be playing 2 holding midfielders in domestic football? I'm not necessarily on board with that. I don't hate it. I'm not saying it's a ridiculous suggestion. You could play Rio as an attacking midfielder and then 2 people in behind him, but I just don't think that... I don't know. I don't think that we're too strong to be doing that. Iconic saying that he enjoyed the Celtic United Legends game. It was amazing. Thanks for the shout out. She loved the shout out. Cheers, bud. No worries. I'm glad you enjoyed the game. Love that. Good stuff, Iconic. Right, we've got a few more minutes before I run off. I've got over 1,000 viewers, by the way, right now. Thank you. Of course, we will be back after the game for the match reaction as well, so keep an eye out for that. But we'll go through a few more questions. I'll round it up to about 35 minutes and then we'll jump off. We're a half an hour away from kickoff. Remember, it's live on Sky Sports this afternoon. Ryan, I stuck that coupon on. Valley anytime. Donovan and Polworth booked in Celtic win. Fiver on for 380 back. No bad. See, now I'm going to have to put it on, because if I use end up winning hundreds and I'm left with nothing, I'll be absolutely gutted. But don't hate me if it doesn't come anywhere near for coming up. You know, I'm glad you have faith in me. Must see some attacking, attractive football today, says Mark. No excuses. I agree. I do agree. Rams, Ravens, Eagles. Bloody hell. You mean to reverse it about. 3-0 prediction from Jackie today. I love that. Good optimism there. Hello, Rido. Good to see Donovan at right back, says Brian. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I really am. I'm looking forward to seeing him get a real competitive start. It's just a shame that the circumstances of the surface don't exactly help. But you know what? He's good enough to handle it. Oh God, how much custard has Russell Martin brought to go with his team's crumble? Good God Almighty. That bad, it's funny. 2-0 Celtic. Back the team, not the board. That's the sentiment of today. Hello, Kaiser. Good to see you, brother. It was good seeing you the other night. 4-0 to Celtic is his suggestion. Love that optimism. I wish that I could be as confident for 4 goals being scored. I think I've went 2-0 for today. But 4 would be fantastic. I would love a real statement performance. Some Green Ninja, that's like asking fucking Michael Jordan or try to think of like the worst basketball player I've ever seen. There's too many that's flooded my mind. Bronny James. Mo Salah or Saka. Saka doesn't even fucking come. Saka is not even anyway. Mo Salah is arguably the greatest Premier League player of all time. 1992 onwards. He's up there in the top 5 anyway. It's like asking fucking Luis Palma or Shinsuke Nakamura for me, that. Let's get a few more. What's the difference between jelly and jam? Ask the Americans. I've been. Do you know what? I must admit, I have been murdering the PB&Js this past week. I went up to the shops and I was like, oh bugger, I'm going to get some peanut butter, and I have been murdering the PB&J on toast, by the way. I will put on so much weight, and if you're wondering why, it's because of that. 1-0 says Mark, a lot more reserved. No Shin or Osmond on the bench is damning. I can't. I'm not going to buy into it. It is damning. I'm not going to buy into the whole thing about how Rodgers is like mistreating them or whatever. He didn't want them, and if he didn't want them, he shouldn't feel obligated to play them. As simple as that. And I said it, a million times. I look at Celtic's team today and I go, right, realistically, who are you dropping out the squad for them? I don't think Yamada's showed enough for me to suggest he's going to be any good or specifically great. I don't think Callum Osmond's not even got a professional game to his name. So, listen, I hope that one day they can come good. I want every player that pulls on the hoops and that signs for Celtic to do good, but I don't blame Rodgers not include them in the team. PB&J, you're away and I am. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see what else. Comments are flying in. Of course, Kaiser, brother. One day when things calm down, we'll get round to it. You know, I actually done an interview yesterday for I missed a phone call there. I done an interview yesterday for BBC Newsbeat or something, and what is it, Newsbeat, to explain the protests for those down south that I have no idea, and I've not posted it. Maybe they didn't like it. Thought it was quite good. I've not seen it though. I've been fucking everywhere this past week, man. It's been too busy. 5-0 with a Maida hat-trick, says Nathan McCrory. Now that is an optimistic suggestion. Ravens or Browns, but today, Ravens, easily. Ravens by 10 at least, I would say. You got Browns. I mean, the Browns didn't look bad last week, but they're cursed. They're not going to beat the Ravens. No chance. Anyway, back to the football. Let's see if Maida tries today or if he's downed tools. That's a big game. We spoke about it earlier in the stream, Paul. I'm hoping that the kind of uncertainty of the transfer window and the whole thing in his mind of am I leaving, am I staying is gone between now and January, and we get, Maida back to his real best. Jam Sammy's for dinners. It's not been for my dinner, by the way. I've actually been making real dinners. It's just, a wee treat during the day, I can make dinner. I am still doing ICW, James. Don't worry, I've just been away for the last 2 shows. I'll be back for the next one. If you want to join the Thunder Club, 118 Club or anything like that, there's a link in the top line of the description. You can also scan this QR code, or you can use the big join button below. The Ravens folded, but they're just big bottle jobs. They're still good, though. They're just not good under pressured situations. I call them the Baltimore bottle jobs. Right, okay, we'll wrap it up there. It's been 35 minutes. Celtic play Kilmarnock in 25 minutes time. I'll be back after the game for the reaction. There's your team. Stand with the fans, sack the board, back the team, and hopefully Celtic get a great result this afternoon. Right, I'll see you later on. Take care.